Alright, well while we're waiting on parts for this unit, we've got something else to fix up here. I don't really know the brand, but it's a miniature manure spreader. This is my fiance's mom's, and it does not work. So let's change that. So let's go over the basic way a manure spreader works. You have a floor chain, and you have your beaters. This one's ground driven, some of them are PTO driven, but this one being a small one, it is ground driven. So you can pull this behind a four-wheeler, lawnmower, compact tractor, or whatever. So, I haven't looked at this a whole lot, but from what I gather, the way it works is your one tire runs a mechanism that runs this little thing and basically just creeps this gear forward. You can see it runs off there. It runs back this arm here, and it just works this, and it's supposed to grab that, and it slowly moves the floor chain back towards the beater. So that's what that tire does. So this tire runs to a pulley here. There's supposed to be a flat chain, conveyor chain on there. And that one, all that one does is run the beater. And the beater moves. The pulley's a little bent. So all in all, it's a pretty simple machine. It's just nothing works. So here's the belly of the beast. This one, I lied, this one does move. You can see it runs this. It's supposed to go up here. Now, this is supposed to, I don't know, there's supposed to be a tooth on there. Yeah, there's a tooth there, so it's missing a spring here. The idea is this goes around. You can see it's supposed to grab that. Alright, so the idea is this is supposed to grab there. And it's supposed to move this gear. However, that's all seized up. When it moves this gear, which this gear is missing teeth, I think we've got some new parts for this. So when it moves this gear, it runs these sprockets, which pulls the floor chain backward. Looks like they updated their design. Got a different style sprocket. More of what you've seen like a roller chain, as opposed to this is more of a gear. It looks like it might have a little bit more leverage too. So it looks like we just remove all this and start fresh. So change out this rear shaft and chain drive assembly. It looks like we got to take this all apart. The worst part about manure is incredibly corrosive. So you can see it's just eating the shaft away. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut this, because it'll be much easier work on this on the workbench. And then hopefully the other side's free, and we can work it out that way. I'm gonna have to separate this chain somehow, but let me put it back together. Okay, there's that one out. Alright, we gotta get this bolt out for this arm that runs off the wheel. I'm not sure, there's probably a technical name for it. Try to get it off without breaking. Makes less work for us. Oh, look at that. Okay, flip that over. Now, let's get a pipe wrench on this, see if we can turn that at all. Alright, let's see if this thing moves. Okay, that's a good sign. It's actually pretty free. think we're just gonna cut the sprocket out. Alright. Let's hope that didn't mess us up somehow. Alright, that's a win. Got the shaft out. Everything seemed to come free. So we just gotta get these sprockets separated from the bits of shaft that was on there. And then we can start putting it back together. One down. That one sucked. Mostly because map gas wouldn't do it. And my main shop torch set, which is on the hose reel there, is out of acetylene. So I had to walk it over my portable set and heat it up, carry it back to the vise, and well, here we are. So yeah, got both the sprockets out. Now it's basically just reassembly, I believe. So for reassembly, we gotta get this piece off. Didn't really think about that. Stand by. Yeah, that should give us enough room to get that in there. I want to try and get some grease in there. So maybe hopefully it doesn't ever get all bound up again. Man, there's a lot of junk in there. I guess it'll push it out on its way out. So we got the one sprocket on there, which is very important not to forget that. Because that'd be a bad day if you forgot to put that on there. Okay, we'll run this through there. I guess let's try and get some more grease on that. I don't think it's gonna hurt. So we got, where is that? Okay, there's our hole there. So let's put this sprocket on there. All right, a little bit of machining. We are in good shape. All right, got the chain back on. Gotta run our adjusters in. I freeze them up and loosen them up a little bit. Get the chain on. Not really sure exactly how tight these are supposed to be. Okay, I'm gonna show you how this works now. So the little tab is engaged. And when you disengage it, nothing happens. Okay. All right, our next problem is this pulley for the beater. It's pretty tight. I sprayed it down when I first brought it in here. I don't know why. Every time I use my grease gun, it's out of grease. Must be like Gremlins or something to use it all. All right, we took this off. A little bit of heat and some grease while it's warm. Yeah, she's running good now. All right, we'll let that cool off because you can't hardly touch it right now. And we'll pump some more grease into it and we'll put it back on the machine. Let's see if they hold air. All right, I think it's pretty apparent the next problem here has to do with this wheel. It's not quite straight, and this planer chain's pretty forgiving. It'd probably work, but this chain's not exactly going to be easy to repair, especially if it's loaded with manure and it runs off. So let's try and straighten that out. So I think the best way to fix this is to cut these two welds and reset this here, weld it back on. That looks pretty good there, actually. So I went to a couple of different stores and even thought I had some new chain in my old garage at my parents' house. But this is where I get made fun of for keeping things, but I got that from somewhere. Dad had this old elevator chain laying in there with a spare section from our hay elevator, and it happens to have the right chain, so we kept it. Not really to repair a manure spreader, but just as spare parts. And well, guess what? It's saving our bacon today because it's the right chain to make this short little planer chain for this drive for the beater. And I couldn't get this anywhere locally, so having that scrap piece of chain laying here is going to save us and get this thing up and running. And there we have it. 48 inches of planer chain, elevator chain, whatever you want to call it. Remember, I don't think there's a specific way, but I think you're supposed to have openings towards the outside of the loop. Makes sense to me, at least. Realistically, we probably want this connection to be up top so it's easier for us to hook together. Look at that. Pretty close. You gotta take 2 links off, it looks like. So I like to take, let me show you here. So if you can see in here, you got like a little tapered edge there. If you just grind that down a little bit, you can get this to the point where it'll slide out of there. I'm sure there's a tool to do that, but to make them slide out without grinding, but this is what we got. Keep this one a little bit tighter so maybe it'll have less of a chance to try and pop off. think that's all we're gonna get out of it, but that's much better. That's perfect there. Yeah, it might be a touch too tight, but I think it'll be okay. So I had this old belt that was pretty rough shape, so I decided to kind of sacrifice it to get a good measurement on how much we need. In the meantime, let's get this thing flipped over. So, we get all this back together. All we're waiting on is that belt. And we'll be able to give her a test. Okay, well, I'm done running back and forth to the store. This belt here is still a little too short, but with it on, it's perfectly tensioned, so what's it matter if that beater runs all the time anyway? So you can see that just works. What better way to use a little manure spreader than a little tractor? Right, pup? One nice thing about manure is it kind of always generates heat because it's always breaking down. So it's been below freezing for a long time here and down in the teens at night, and this pile has like very few inches of frost in it. I was able to break into it with this no problem. So let's get a scoop or two loaded up and give this a shot. So I drove it over here with the drive engaged. I'm just gonna spread this to the pasture, but it's smoother down here. So we're gonna drive down there, we'll come back and we'll engage. Well, it works. It's, man, is that a rough ride in that little tractor across this pasture. But I mean, the idea is you want to have it loaded up to here. That way when it comes back, the beater's actually shredded. I mean, I didn't know how well it was going to work, so I only put like a scoop and a half in there because I didn't want to shovel it out. But yeah, I mean, we filled it all the way up to the front and it's cleaned it out. So let's just run this last little bit out and I think we can call this fixed. All right, well, this is pretty much going to wrap this video up. I mean, we got this thing from pile of parts to actually working and spreading. It would be nice if I could make it so the beater was collared. You could turn the beater on and off, but realistically, I think that's more of a safety thing. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to work. All the chains are working, the mechanisms are all functioning. It's all greased up and the tires are even holding there. So I think we're in good shape here, and we'll get this back to my fiance's mom, and she'll be able to put it to use come spring or whenever she plans on using it. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.